15 weeks. 15 weeks of online learning has finally come to a close. It's finally the summer holidays here in Dubai, which means it's the start of 7 weeks of switching off, fingers crossed, from laptops. There's been lots of pros, lots of cons, and lots of lessons learned from this time of online learning. So what I wanted to do in this video is talk about some of the pros. I wanted to talk about some of the cons, but ultimately talk about a range of lessons that I've learned during this time of online learning. So to start off, what I wanted to do is cast your minds back, way back to even before the start of online learning. It was a very daunting time. Things had slowly started to close down here in the UAE, in Dubai. And in schools, there were a range of activities that had started to become a little bit restricted. No longer were there gatherings in the corridor, no longer were there assemblies, and people were starting to wake up to the idea that COVID-19 was actually quite serious. So ultimately, we were a bit unsure of what was going to happen. The holidays were brought forward, the 2-week holiday, and we had a 2-week break, which was not quite something we actually wanted because we'd only just finished having a break. We'd recently had, was it a 1-week half term, and then we had another 2 weeks, 2 weeks after that. And then after that, we knew there was going to be 2 weeks of online distance learning, or so we thought. Now, when those 2 weeks of online distance learning came around, there were lots of sort of anxious feelings going around, but we knew after 2 weeks it'd be okay, we'd be back in school and we'd be able to play catch up. But then ultimately that never came, and school did close for the remainder of the academic year. So from that, there were lots of cons. As a teacher, you start to worry about things like progress. How are the children going to make the same amounts of progress without being in the school environment? How am I going to be able to assess what the children are creating? How am I able to know that it's the children's own work? Those are some of the questions that I had as a teacher, and those were some of the cons ultimately from online learning. It wasn't fair to make formal assessments because I wasn't really sure how much advice parents had given and how much support children had had. Progress. I still believe that children have made progress, but would they have made the same progress at home as what they would have in school with the correct support and resources around? Parental support. I was worried about the stress on parents. Parents at the moment have a lot of stresses around that time and throughout online learning, especially with jobs here in the UAE. And then to throw on and say, can you also support your child with their learning, especially if there are bigger families of 2, 3 and bigger than that. It's a big stress as a teacher, and obviously as a teacher you just want to do anything that you can to support those families. From a personal perspective, one of the big cons was monotony. Every day felt like Groundhog Day, where I would get up and I would make breakfast, jump online in front of the computer and remain at the computer for a long period of time. The other problem with online learning was a lack of routine. All of a sudden you go from the routine of waking up, getting breakfast, going to school, finishing school, come home, go to the gym, you don't have that. There's this sudden, right, you've got to do things on the laptop, but also you've got all this time at home. And by the way, you can't actually go out to the gym, you can't go out and do those things. So automatically, the lack of routine meant a lack of productivity. And for me personally, being someone who has YouTube and teaches and tries to juggle both of them, I did struggle because I was thinking, well, how am I going to do both? I was thinking, yes, I've got all this time to make YouTube videos, but at the same time, my screen time had dramatically jumped because I was spending all this time in front of a computer, I was making videos for my lessons, and the last thing I wanted to do was go and make lessons for fun. Making lessons online through videos had ultimately became my job, and as a result, making videos for myself and having fun was something that I'd started to enjoy less and less. And that lack of routine automatically made me not really want to be as creative. Having that routine I found in my life and having a bit of an agenda for the day really supports me in becoming creative because I know that I've got a specific amount of time to get things done. When you give someone like myself countless amount of hours to get something done, it doesn't get done, or until the very last minute when I give myself that deadline of a Sunday upload. So those have been some of the cons, but ultimately when you have so many different cons and so many worries going on in the world, you automatically seek out the pros. You think about, well, surely there's going to be some good, and I had to do that because otherwise I would have driven myself crazy. Pro number one, children have been automatically given a range of technological skills that would have taken a long time to learn had they been learning them at school. A lot of patience, something that the children and parents handled extremely well, and as a result I think the technological skills of the children here in the UAE are way above some of the skills in other countries. It's been fantastic to see all the different technological developments that the children have made. I've been forced to innovate lessons in a range of creative ways, to be able to use software like Google Classroom, to look for different things like Study Ladder, like other resources, to use Mote as a tool for feedback because I'm unable to just keep typing things out, or I'm finding typing things out extremely monotonous and extremely hard on my eyes. So giving that verbal feedback gives that personal sort of touch. At the same time, if I take things away from learning and just at school, there are pros of working from home. My bladder loves me, like absolutely loves me. I can crazily go to the toilet when I want to, meaning that I don't have to hold in a toilet visit until a break time. At the same time, oh my gosh, I actually get to have cups of tea when they're hot. How crazy is that? That is something that I'm absolutely going to miss. I know I joked about other people's assumptions of what teachers are doing during this time and thinking that that would be sitting in front of a screen, drinking and eating snacks and things like that. Realistically, that could be kind of true too. Because you're getting on with your job, you can have those snacks by the desk. You can have a movie on in the background to make you feel more comfortable, to break up the monotony of the day. So that has been a pro too. Talking about non-online learning things now, I think I've actually found more time to speak to my family at home. Slap on the wrist, Thomas, I'm not as good at talking to my family at home. And being forced to spend all this time at home makes me think, actually, I need to speak to people at home. You know, I need to know that they're okay. And I've started to look at other forms of being able to talk as a group. Regularly now on a Saturday or Sunday, I talk to my nan and granddad who were on, I think it was like 10 weeks in the end of lockdown, just in their home in Spain, and my family and my brother, and we've all been able to do this group chat, something we've not done before, and it's been a really nice opportunity for us all to virtually get together. So now we talk about lessons learned from this whole online learning experience, with the optimistic hope that in September we will go back to school and I will have that opportunity to see the children and to get on with normal learning. I know there's probably going to be some distance and things like that, but I'll see when September comes. So lessons learned and takeaways. Not takeaways, although I've had a lot of takeaways during this lockdown period too. Deliveroo, Talabat here in the UAE, Kareem now. It's been dangerous. You've even got InstaShop here in the UAE where you can just order groceries that come to your home. I'm completely going off task. But at the end of the day, I've learned a lot, and I think it would be an absolute shame to lose some of the things that I've learned. Google Classroom has been amazing, and I need that to be a part of my teaching in the future, to be able to show the children how to use that for a range of different reasons. I can share videos and assignments for them to just crack on with. I can use groups and things like that with Google Classrooms. I've learned and thought about how I can use Google Classroom when I go back to school in many different ways. I think that utilising more technology is also going to relieve pressure off me, because I won't have to worry so much about printing everything off. It will be on a platform like Google Classroom. I've also found a range of different resources that save my time marking, things like Study Ladder, where children will automatically get in feedback and they're able to correct things if they get things wrong. Using resources like that to be able to give the children and to also assess children, I need to be using more things like that. At the same time, on a personal level, I do need to take more time to call home. And that is a massive lesson learned too, because I've noticed the more that I speak to family at home, the better I feel, and the better I feel, the more creative I am, the more productive I am, and it ultimately supports me through the whole teaching and also this channel business too. So those are some of the lessons that I've learned. those are some personal reflections. 15 weeks are now done. And hopefully in September, after the summer holidays, I will be able to crack on with learning, plugging gaps and all sorts of things like that. I'm sure there's going to be many exciting videos talking about what the education might look like, other things that I want to be doing in the future too. But yeah, hopefully you've learned something or can relate to this video in some way. Let me know down in the comments some of the pros and some of the cons of online learning for you. And let me know some of the things that you've learned during this time too. I think this is a fantastic time for us to all collaborate together globally and to sort of reflect on this experience together. If you've not already, please like and subscribe to the channel and join this platform where educators collaborate. I know that 93% of you at the moment are not subscribed, so please take some time to do that. It is really appreciated. Hopefully I will see you in the next one, but for now, summer holidays, I'm out.